Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has pledged to unite with Kenyans in a challenging President William Ruto's government, aiming to make his re-election in the 2027 general elections unlikely. Gachagua, a vocal critic of Ruto's government since his impeachment last October, joined opposition leaders Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa during the unveiling of the new Democratic Action Party headquarters in Nairobi. He urged Kenyans to rise up against Ruto, accusing the president of being intolerant and dictatorial, particularly in a response to his opposition to policies such as unpopular tax hikes.
Let us not approach this election with a predetermined mindset that lazima ikuwe ni mimi ama ni mimi. Wacha tuseme tuko na kibarua ya kungoa hii jamaa. That is the first objective. Let us consolidate our votes, consolidate. Uzuri, payslip holders are 3 million. Na every payslip holder has a minimum influence of 2 people. Those are 9 million people who have a personal issue with William Ruto. Sasa ongeza Gen Z. Maneno inaisha.
Gachagua also revealed that one of the reasons he was labelled incompetent was for reportedly not defending certain government projects he considered corrupt, such as the failed Adani deal.
Defend Adani. Tulikuwa na Eugene Wamalwa, huyu mheshimiwa, na Wanyonga kwa mazishi Kitale. Huyu Wanyonga akaamuka, akalima serikali mambo ya Adani. Na mimi nakaa tu vile. I don't want to nod because I'm still in office. That Adani thing is the worst form of corrupt country. So mimi nilipoamuka, I never responded. So one of the PAs ya mkubwa akanipigia simu. Mtu yuko huko mtu ya 36. Wewe ni deputy president ya sangapi? Maana ya deputy president, you speak last. Dio ile maneno yote iko baya serikali ukanu. Kwa nini huyo Nyonga alilima serikali mambo ya Adani and you are not defending?
At the same time, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has raised concerns over the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission advertising tenders for goods and services without a substantive commission in place. Musyoka alleged that IEBC CEO Hussein Marjan was receiving instructions from former IEBC Commissioner Boya Molu, now chairman of the Public Service Commission. Musyoka warned that the opposition coalition would block critical approvals by the Marjan-led secretariat until a substantive electoral body is in place. This comes just hours after the IEBC selection panel was sworn in to fill vacancies within the commission, which arose after the exit of the Wafula Chebukati-led team in January 2023.
I advise that we do not give William Ruto the excuse to delay formation of IEBC. And I realize because Wiper was unfairly blamed for delaying the process. Now the truth is known. It was not us. It was William Ruto, through instructions given to a judge in Kiambu, who has vacated her own situation, dismissed the application, therefore paving the way for the selection panel to be put in place. As of today, therefore, the whole thing about the categorization of those leaders, or those members of IEBC selection panel, are based on that structure.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has urged governors to improve revenue collection by digitizing systems and addressing financial leakages to promote self-dependence, while acknowledging counties' progress in boosting their revenue sources. Kindiki emphasized that this approach is essential for sustainable growth and managing mounting bills. Speaking at the 26th ordinary session of the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council at his official residence, Kindiki highlighted the need for frequent consultations to address emerging issues. He also called for an end to the ongoing bickering between the Control of Budget and the Council of Governors over the county government bursary allocation.
When you have different institutions, different offices, it is not for us to have differences of opinion on a matter. What is not normal is to attack each other or to be confrontational and to bring disrespect to any of the offices that are established by our constitution. And therefore, I know we have some differences of opinion around the issue of education support by county governments, which is part of today's agenda. And we, I'm sure, will find some consensus around the issue one way or the other.
President William Ruto has proposed a heads of states committee to oversee the African Union institutional reforms. Speaking during the meeting at State House, Nairobi, President Ruto indicated that the committee will ensure sustained momentum, strategic oversight, and collective ownership of the reform process. He added that the continent is facing unprecedented challenges regarding peace and security conflict that continue to rob Africa of its potential, costing the continent an estimated $18 billion annually.
Institutional reforms following the assignment Your Excellencies gave me during the 37th Assembly of Heads of State and Government in Addis last year. This retreat is an opportunity to pause, reflect, and refocus our collective energies towards an African Union that is robust, efficient, and most importantly, fit for purpose. As Your Excellencies will recall, I was tasked with the role of re-energizing the reform process.
The International Criminal Police Organization has arrested 17 Kenyans, including 2 suspected ISIS members, several foreign terrorist fighters, and others involved in terrorism financing, radicalization, and propaganda. The 17 were arrested during an international counter-terrorism operation in East Africa that led to the arrest of 37 suspects and the seizure of both the small arms and heavy weapons. Those arrested include suspected members of ISIS, Al-Shabaab, and several foreign terrorist fighters. The Kenyans were arrested during a joint Interpol and Afripol operation in November to December 2024 aimed at identifying and arresting suspects with links to terrorism and strengthening key border controls. Through a statement, Interpol revealed that before the operation, each country had done the required amount of groundwork in regard to intelligence gathering.
Pearl Newsbeat.
And across borders, the U.S. and Colombia have averted a potential trade war after Colombia agreed to allow U.S. military planes carrying deported migrants to land in the country. The dispute arose when President Gustavo Petro barred 2 U.S. military flights carrying deported Colombians from landing. In response, the U.S. threatened to impose tariffs on Colombian exports. President Petro initially warned of retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, but an agreement was later reached. The White House announced that Colombia will now accept migrants, including those arriving on U.S. military flights without restrictions.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.